Roxo Media House.
From the Flying T Club studios here at Roxo Media House, this is Frogs Today. Men's tennis stars Jake Fearnley and Jack Pinnington at the most prestigious Grand Slam of them all, Wimbledon. And you won't want to miss this one. Swim and dive coach James Winchester, in just his 6th year at TCU, joins the show to talk about his Paris-bound Olympians, along with this positively trending program. Part 2 of our 3-part series on the new dynamic $50 million project that will highlight not only the football program, but with all the student athletes and teams. And Big 12 Football Media Days heads to the City of Lights, Las Vegas, Nevada. It's Friday, July 5th, and I'm your host, Nate Palmer. I'm a freshman with TCU football from Decatur, and it's good to be here in Fort Worth. I can see why they call TCU the everything school. TCU men's tennis never disappoints, and Jake Fearnley and Jack Pinnington turned it up from the purple courts and now on the green grass. We get you caught up on the singles and doubles performances at the championships at Wimbledon. Swim and Dive is getting better and better every year, with solid performances at the Big 12 championships back in February to a national invitational championship sending 2 athletes to Paris this summer. And we get the scoop from the national invitational championship, Coach of the Year, James Winchester. Assistant Vice Chancellor for Development, Joe Foley, is back for part 2 of our 3-part series on the Frog Club, who talks Simpson Family Restoration and Wellness Center. Lastly, we know our season is getting closer because Big 12 Football Media Days takes to America's Playground, Las Vegas, Nevada. And next week's show will be live on location from Allegiant Stadium. Lots to get to after a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back.
At Higginbotham, we put people first. So we simply start by listening to you. Whether you're searching for customized insurance, HR, or financial solutions to protect your home, car, health, business, or employees, our specialists are here to serve you, the people you care about, and your success. Higginbotham, insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
You know, we wouldn't be able to do the things we were able to do this year without the Flying T Club. So we got to continue to get people involved. It's more important right now than it's ever been.
Flying T is special. It's the best thing that I've encountered in college. It allows us to be able to offset a lot of the costs that our scholarships aren't able to cover. If people like winning, invest in the Flying T Club and NIL. This is really great for athletes and just for future students who want to come here and be a part of something special, man. I just think it's great.
It just means a lot to us players to see all the sport, and it's huge.
Welcome back into the Flying T Club studio. I'm your host, Nate Palmer from TCU Football. Number 1 in NCAA National Champions men's tennis is being represented well at the All England Club in London at Wimbledon. Jake Fearnley took care of Spaniard Alejandro Moroccanas in straight sets in the first round, setting up the match of a lifetime with number 2 seed and 24-time Grand Slam champion from Serbia, Novak Djokovic, on the most iconic and famous court in the world, center court, and this is the moment he will never forget.
From the beginning, you don't know how he's going to handle the moment, and I thought he handled it very well. Okay, you can't really quite prepare for center court playing the best player in the world at Wimbledon. I mean, that's just not something that you can simulate until you get there, and you're just hoping that you can handle it. I thought he did pretty well. You know, there's so many different feelings, right? You're excited, but at the same time, you gotta compete and you gotta play. At the end of the day, when you learn all these mental skills and ways to get your focus back, it doesn't really matter what the emotion is, whether it's anger or excitement like it was today, or a fear of the unknown like it was today. You go back to your routines, and that's why you train those routines and why you want to get as good as you can as possible with those routines, so that no matter what situation you're in, no matter what you're going through, that you can apply those skills. And that's something that Devin Bowen has worked with our whole team, but especially with Jake, is to learn to control those thoughts. And I thought he did pretty well. I thought he was a little tentative for the first couple sets. I didn't I didn't see him like really taking too many chances, but that's understandable. You don't want to go out there and try to overplay. And I felt like once he broke back in the third set, that's when he got into his rhythm, and that's where you could see this body language that we know of Jake when he's playing his best. And I felt from that moment on, he was kind of the one in control of the match and the one dictating and winning those that third set. I thought, okay, here we go. And then he had chances to go up and break early at 3-2. That was a big game, and credit to Djokovic for hanging in there. And then again at 5-all, at 5-4, and then Djokovic from 15-30, he hit three great first serves and got out of that game. And there's a reason why he's number one in the world.
The seven-time former champion survives an almighty test from the British wildcard. An outstanding display from Jake Fearnley. But ultimately, it's not enough.
Despite the loss, his opening rounds at Wimbledon could have just set him up for the qualification for the U.S. Open in Flushing Meadows, New York in August.
I thought he served very well. It was very difficult to break his serve. He made me work, definitely. I was probably a bit lucky in the fourth to go break down. Maybe I could have won the match in 3, but I think all in all, this match potentially deserved to get into the fifth the way we both played, the way he played, particularly in the fourth. But I'm very glad he didn't.
I think he's sort of showing to the tennis world, especially the British tennis and the LTA, that he can play at that level. I thought the level was there, and that he can that he's worth somebody that the British Federation can get behind and support and help continue to climb those ranks. And I know that Djokovic is probably not playing at his best right now because of surgery and hasn't been playing, but some of that credit goes to Jake, like Djokovic set up the match. I thought, whether you're a Djokovic fan or not, I just always feel like he says all the right things, and he could have, obviously he's not happy with the way he played. He made that clear, but at the same time, he gave credit to Jake, and I thought it was really cool. And more importantly for Jake to gain confidence from this experience. You look back and say, okay, what's working? Why am I in the second round of Wimbledon? What have I been doing well? I think that's the most important. Then you go and collect your prize money. That's going to help him. It's going to set him up for the rest of the year or so. And that way he can do the schedule that he wants to do. And take a day or so to enjoy it, be there, be a normal rookie out there at Wimbledon for a day or so, and then get right back on the practice court. And I believe the plan, the last time I spoke with Devin Baldwin, who is in charge of his schedule, he's going to go to Newport and play on grass, just continue since he's been on grass for a month. Continue to play on grass and go to Newport, Rhode Island, and see if he can qualify for that ATP event. And then, Jake is very close to qualifying for the U.S. Open qualifying with how well he's done, and his ranking has shot up this last month. So start getting ready for U.S. Open qualies and give it a shot there.
Roommates in college and now roommates in London. Unfortunately, Fearnley and Pinnington lost in the first round of doubles play, but another worthwhile experience.
Yeah, I'm sure he's excited to be part of it and have that player's badge. Obviously, Jack wants to be in the singles as well. And I know Jack is, he was a great teammate and supporting his buddy, his teammate out there in the player's box. But I'm sure that Jack is thinking why not me? I'm next, and I wouldn't be surprised if a year from now we're talking about Jack as well, out in the main draw of Wimbledon. I could almost bet that anything that he'll be in the main draw of Wimbledon a year from today, and he's still sort of thinking about and deciding if he's going to come back to TCU for his third year. As of right now, he's coming back and he's doing everything he can to prepare academically that he can take the fall off and be back. But so I guess the point I'm making with Jack is that it's a great experience, but seeing all his buddies, Job and Jake, those guys, Ferry, being in the main draw of singles, Jack's going to be motivated and fired up for his turn.
Let's not forget number 42 world-ranked Cam Norrie, who won his first round match in straight sets and continued his winning ways against number 28 ranked countryman Jack Draper. For his standards, he's struggled a little bit this year. Tiebreakers have been a huge Achilles of his this year. I think he was like 6-1 and 15 losses or something like that, 6-16 in tiebreakers, and for him to win 2 tiebreakers like that on court 1 against another British player, it's awesome, huge. These are the kind of things that you're looking forward to turn around a season, and he's on to the third round, so we have another frog in the third. That's huge, awesome. Get all the updates and results at Wimbledon.com or on ESPN and ABC. Next up, from the grass to the water, and we are joined by Swim and Dive head coach James Winchester, talking about his 2 frogs heading to Paris this summer. Rising sophomore, Renishka Gibbs will represent the Bahamas in the 50-meter freestyle. She would be the first female swimmer from TCU since 2008 to compete in the Olympic Games. She placed second in the Bahamian Championships. She had a remarkable first season at TCU and an extremely high ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, Renishka's been an awesome addition to our program. I mean, the crazy thing is that she's young. I mean, she started with us. She just finished her freshman year. She came here at 16 years old. And so she's still just a pup in so many ways, but her development's been really good. Credit to the coaching staff and Renishka and the work that they've done in putting her in this position. But she had a strong showing for us here freshman year. But one of the big parts for us in our recruiting is trying to meet some of those Olympic dreams and Olympic ambitions. And Renishka bought into that, and she had the opportunity to earn that opportunity, I guess, that position here recently at the Bahamas National Championships and Olympic trials. And she's the one. She's the best one there and gets the nomination. So it's been something that we've embraced. It's something we've had as a goal for her and part of her ambition in coming over to the States and being in a good NCAA program. But it's also a big program goal for us. All you need is a lane. All you need is an opportunity. But she's young. It's going to be a huge learning experience, but she has also been to world championships before, so it's not going to be a totally foreign concept. But when you do the opening ceremony and you're going to be out there in Paris and swimming starts the next day and you're soaking it in, it's a whole different level of nerves and anxiety and excitement and stress. It's a beautiful thing. It could go really, really well, or it could be something that's going to be a great learning experience. I mean, either way, however this goes for Renishka, the ceiling, maybe she has a shot at making it back. Maybe she's going to be on the outside looking in, but really it's going to be a great learning experience. And this shouldn't be her only Olympics. I mean, it's great to make it here, but very much for Los Angeles here in 2028, that should be very much on her agenda too. And with that gives us 4 years. She'll still be with us for the next 3 years, but at least a good run in on development, and let's see what we can do.
Jaden Willis, one of TCU seniors for the upcoming year, will also be making his way to Paris this summer for Antigua and the 100-meter breaststroke. Competition will start on July 27th and go through August 3rd.
Definitely. I mean, Jaden's been also a great addition for our program, and where Anishka is at the front end of her career here. Jaden's heading into his senior year. And so he's had lots of opportunities here for development, qualifying for the NCAA championships. He's a program record holder here. At the NIC championships, he's won a couple of titles. And so at the college scene, he's been growing. He's been getting better. He's been getting faster. And is also now as one of the upperclassmen been really influencing some of our younger guys too. I mean, we had a young guy here from Brazil that won their Olympic trials and didn't quite hit the qualifying standard, but another breaststroker that he's had a really positive influence on amongst many others on the team too. So Jaden's legacy in some aspects goes much further than just the events he's done on the college program. And yes, making the Olympics is fantastic, but where not to go apples to apples, but where he's been a little bit being able to share those experiences has been inspiring for some of the younger guys on our team.
Winchester finishes up his 6th year at TCU and a strong finish to the season last year with a 2nd place and 3rd place finish at the Big 12s for the women and the men, respectively, then crowned national invitational champions in both the men and women.
I mean, for all of us here at TCU, I mean, the Big 12's changing, and swimming and diving has changed drastically in these last few years with some of the new programs coming in. And so finishing up my 6th year here at TCU, we've been planning for this moment and working towards it. I mean, ever since some of our friends decided to leave, we've been thinking, okay, how do we keep accelerating? How do we keep improving? This hasn't been an overnight success. This has been something we've been putting the work in on for the last 6 years, but really the last 3 or 4 years as we've really taken step by step with our program. And part of that's also just the staff and the coaches buying in, it's the athletes buying in and putting us in a position to have those moments. And any coach will acknowledge this, like you can put all the work in and have the best laid out plans and things don't quite go to plan sometimes. But when they do come together, part of what we talked about this year is stepping up for each other, embracing each other, representing TCU with pride, which it should always be the case, but we've really nailed in on that. And I think we saw that come through with our performances at the Big 12 championship, and then carrying that into the postseason in the pool and on the boards. And it's when we won over there at the NICs on both sides. I mean, I think at the beginning we talked about it like this should be the aspiration, but enjoy it, encourage each other. But then we got a little momentum, and when you get a little momentum in any sport, it goes real well, and the kids ran with it. And we were very much just enjoying the moment, embracing it. You don't always win the trophies every single day, but when we were in it there, we fully embraced the opportunity and loved every moment of it. So it's tough not to enjoy winning. And you're absolutely right. I mean, it takes a village, and there's so many people involved in making that happen. And a lot of it's just laying that foundation year after year. I mean, even though we had a successful season last year, we've already started thinking of how to make things better moving forward. And a lot of credit does go to the staff. I mean, it's a very transparent staff. We share a lot. We challenge each other. We push each other. Yes, I get the privilege of leading them, but at the end of the day, I get the privilege of them buying into us too, and pushing me as a leader and as a head coach too. So I'm supported by some really great people, and that's just what makes winning more enjoyable too. Like sometimes it can be just, sometimes it is the results are just driving you through, and that becomes the more important thing. But when the process comes together, the people working it, you see the results pay off. It's not luck, it's hard work, it's commitment, it's putting it all together. The last day of the meet there, it was just a lot of smiling, of just looking around and embracing, especially now heading almost 20 years into my career. I've been fortunate enough to be part of some different championship squads, but it was a great pleasure to be able to bring not just one, I guess two to TCU now.
We asked Winchester what his expectations are for this upcoming season, as well as the iron sharpens iron mentality at TCU Athletics.
Definitely. I mean, swimming and diving's as any sport is these days. It's fully year round, and the commitment taken to that to your craft, to your art. It's a lot. So, I mean, we've had a lot of different preparations through the summer, past Renishka and Jaden. I mean, we have incoming student athletes competing at some of their regional European and European junior championships. We've had athletes on the team that quite a few of them have been going to their Olympic trials and trying to hit those same aspirations. And so it's been a lot of work of managing some of those plans, and for some of those that haven't been in that same situation, also resetting them and preparing them for a new collegiate season and some of their goals there. So the summer, the individual part of our sport definitely kicks in a little bit more. But as we transition heading into next year, I mean, we lost a great senior class, but we have a great recruiting class coming in, and probably one of the biggest difference makers, that we have returning is David Ekdahl. He redshirted this year in his pursuit of going to the Olympics, but he's won a couple of Big 12 championships. He's been an NCAA qualifier. He's been probably our best athlete or one of our best athletes on the team for the first 2 years. And so to get him back heading into his junior season here at TCU is a huge uplift for our diving program, which has been phenomenal this year, as well as the rest of the team. So we're really looking forward to welcoming his leadership back. We got a lot of key players coming back. We have a lot of new talent coming in as well, too. So it's, the one thing I was just thinking about earlier with recruiting is you always want to try and get better each year. And I think we have the opportunity to improve again.
We wish Renishka and Jaden the best in Paris, and of course, Coach Winchester as well, as he enters his 7th year as the head coach for the Horned Frog Swim and Dive teams. We will take a quick break and be right back.
Energy does everything for us. It's all-encompassing.
We're all benefiting and affected from it.
And it is something that we all need to know about.
It is the glue that holds everything together.
TCU is powering what matters, our future.
We don't just talk about what's needed, we focus on results.
The Ralph Lowe Energy Institute is creating a world where energy is affordable, sustainable, and reliable.
Simply the best barbecue in Fort Worth. Dine in, catering, or drive-through. 2900 Montgomery, just off I-30. Remember, the best barbecue in Fort Worth is at Railhead Smokehouse.
Welcome to the Squire Shop.
We are locally owned and operated since 1994.
We specialize in the finest men's clothing that the market has to offer at affordable prices with unbelievable service.
We do custom clothing all the way to more casual, Peter Millar, Johnny O, kind of everything. Well, my dad's the owner, so I've been around retail my whole life. Oh, it's great. I mean, it's the best boss I'll ever have. I know that.
We love our TCU community. They have been so good to us. Come see us today. Go Frogs!
Welcome back in, Frog Nation. On last week's episode, we sat down with the director of the TCU Frog Club, Joe Foley, along with some staffers about the 24/7 initiative that brought in $250,000 in just 1 week. In part 2 of our 3-part Frog Club series, this week, Assistant Vice Chancellor for Development, Foley, gives us a rundown of the Simpson Family Restoration and Wellness Center, a dynamic $50 million facility that would be completed in 2025.
Yeah, this project's going to be a major game changer for TCU Athletics, for our student athletes. There's really a few components to it, right? First and foremost, we're going to build a brand new weight room that our football team is going to be able to use each and every day. And so that's awesome, because right now we have 525 student athletes in 22 sports, all sharing one weight room. So the opportunity to take our largest roster of student athletes and give them their own space not only benefits our football team by having a brand new state-of-the-art facility, but also gives us the opportunity to renovate the Bob Lilly, the current existing weight room, for our other student athletes to use. So within that space, we're going to create our own separate private men's, women's basketball weight room. The other student athletes are going to have the current weight room. We're going to do some renovations to that as well. As I mentioned, build the new weight room. In addition to that, we're also going to be able to build the Simpson Family Restoration and Wellness Center, which is state of the art. It's something that very, very few athletic departments across the country have, and that's an entire facility dedicated to the holistic development of our student athletes. Everything from nutrition to massage therapy, red light therapy, heat therapy, ice therapy, all the different ways that we can help develop the entire student athlete to be really successful in their particular sport. Really excited about that facility too.
Regarding funding for massive projects like this, what is the role of the TCU Frog Club and what is the process like?
So when Jeremiah had the vision to create this, he knew he needed support from donors to make it happen. And this building is 100% funded by the philanthropy of donors who stepped up to make that happen. Very few facilities in all of higher education are 100% donor funded, but our donors understood. So Jeremiah began with the vision. He worked with the Frog Club to create a list of the donors, the prospects most capable of supporting at the highest level, and went out and started. He and the Frog Club worked together, went out and started talking to all these donors about the impact they could have and the impact this facility could have on our student athletes. And very quickly, donors stepped up and made support. Once some donors began giving, other donors heard about it and wanted to get involved themselves. And so the momentum really just kind of took off. And before we knew it, this building was able to be funded entirely through the support of and generosity of those who really just want to see our student athletes have the very best experience they can here at TCU.
We got to find out more about the Simpson family and their investment in TCU Athletics.
The Simpson family, incredible people and wonderful. What's really interesting and neat about their gift to TCU is the fact that they're actually not TCU grads themselves, but they really wanted to make this gift to show their investment and support of the city of Fort Worth. And knowing how important TCU is to the entire Fort Worth community, that really drove their support. They're active philanthropists. They're big TCU fans. They come to our games and they're very supportive across all of our sports, all of our student athletes. They're involved with NIL support. They're donors. They're season ticket holders. But when they saw this, it kind of married together a lot of their interests between the wellness of student athletes, supporting the Fort Worth community, supporting our TCU students, and they were incredibly generous.
Foley fills us in on the day-to-day on this project and the unique nature of it, as well as how this project will set TCU apart not just for the athletes, but the entire student body, staff, and faculty.
This is a really special initiative, and as you can see, it's currently under construction now and will be until July of next year, July of 25. We're really excited about it. Day to day, this is going to give our student athletes kind of a competitive advantage we don't currently have. I like to think of it as it's that extra 1 or 2% better that this will make them. This will make them that extra 1 or 2% better, which will allow them to be, this will allow our running back colliding with our opponent's linebacker, and which way is that pile going to fall at the end? Are we going to be that much stronger? Are we going to be that much better shape? Or are we not going to have that advantage? This is going to give our student athletes a competitive advantage they're not going to be able to get if they choose to enroll at other universities in the Big 12 or across the country. This is going to make sure that their bodies are properly fueled, properly conditioned, so that they can perform at their very, very best. You know, when a young man or woman chooses to come to TCU, we know that they're talented people. We know they have incredible gifts, but they need help reaching their full potential, right? And we rely on our coaches and on our facilities to help bring that out in them. We've got great coaches that develop our kids to help reach their potential. This facility is going to complement that and really help our student athletes achieve their goals and reach their fullest potential. That's one of the coolest things about TCU is the entire university community recognizes the impact intercollegiate athletics has on the well-being of campus at large. You know, our university is currently engaged in its strategic planning process right now, and athletics is one of 4 key pillars to driving the long-term success of the university. Our campus recognizes and believes and knows that having a great athletics program attracts high-quality applicants, which ensures a really strong student body and gives those students a really great experience while they're here. All the data supports that. You know, I could share all the data with you. You know, our enrollment data, our alumni student satisfaction data, and the reason why many alumni give back because of that great experience that they've had here at TCU, loving the highly competitive athletics program that we have.
Part 3 of our TCU Frog Club series will be brought to you in 2 weeks. To find out a little more on the Block T Association, headed up by former TCU volleyball student athlete and head coach Jill Kramer. The Block T Association is a vibrant community of current and former TCU student athlete, team managers, trainers, and coaches. Next week, a special on-location episode live from Las Vegas Allegiant Stadium, site of the 2024 Big 12 Football Media Days. Athletic Director Jeremiah Donati will be on set along with head coach Sonny Dykes and players Jack Besh, Caleb Fox, Josh Hoover, Mike Nichols, and Nnamdi Obiazar, along with various Flying T Club executives. That just about does it for this week's edition of Frogs Today. I've enjoyed bringing you all the TCU Athletics news and notes. I am Nate Palmer, and for TCU football and everyone behind the scenes here at Roxo Media House, this has been Frogs Today for July 5th. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned next week, live from Las Vegas. Go Frogs.
Roxo Media House.